Barry?
Yeah, what's up?
Got a boat related issue. You want to come look at it?
What's that?
It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. Just 1 second, sorry. I found this dripping, and it was just like some barnacles were there, and I thought maybe it was just because the barnacles were drying out.
Yeah.
But they just keep dripping, and barnacles don't hold that much water.
I saw icicles on them this morning.
I'm gonna take a closer look.
That's some juicy barnacles.
We got cratering on the hull here. You see the dip right there,
Holy fuck.
and then it goes like it's like a 3 or 4 foot section here. And it's quite a lot of water coming out of it.
Holy fuck, he hit something hard.
I mean, it's 27 tons, right? So it's gonna make damage when it hits something. So I'm thinking we clear the water out of the bilge, let it dry out, bake this, blitz it with some sanders, and then epoxy and propane heaters, and she's sealed. Maybe we like build it up a few layers. We use some of that 10 ounce, you know?
A lot of it.
Just go to town on it and make it thick.
Different here. So I'm gonna have to come up. Like,
Maybe.
oh yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's welled out, right? Look at that. Juicy.
We've got super grinders. We can go to town on it.
Yep.
And that's what it's gonna take. You gotta like blitz some holes in this boat. Look, you didn't pay anything for the boat. It was guaranteed there's gonna be a hole in it.
Yeah,
I
this
think.
is the price of admission.
It's just a holy boat.
Among the rest of it. Fuck.
There's no way that was gonna be a totally.
It didn't keep going. Did it? Oh, you did.
Well,
Comes
look,
right
there's
there.
momentum, right?
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I do a lot of diving and cleaning on boats. I see this a lot. A boat from the 80s, been in the water for 40 years. It's gonna have at least 3 or 4 kisses down the keel.
Yeah, there's nothing else forward, hey? Yeah.
Not that I could see.
It would have been a big fucking rock.
Doesn't have to be, man. It could. It's just 27 tons in motion. I mean, it could hit like a smooth little boulder and just do this.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I guess it would have been. Oh, she's almost touching the ground, right? It would have been a big, high enough rock. Dang.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, she does draft like 6.5 feet. So.
We'll have to ask Evan about this, how that was.
Evan's got some.
Tell us
admitting,
about the full stocking
Yeah, Evan,
experience.
what's going on, buddy?
How is it sailing and then not sailing suddenly?
Hey, sir, you can't park there. Oh, well.
Well, fuck you.
What?
You found it.
Yeah, I saved us.
You find it, you fix it.
I saved us sinking. We could have gone back in the water. I'm not the bad guy here. I saved it. I saved the day. You know, if we were a proper YouTube channel, we would just like really ham this up and be like, our boat is written off. It's the end. We're never going to sail. It's all over.
I thought we were gonna have fun.
Oh, I'm gonna die now. I just acted out a little bit. That's great. So this episode's sponsored by Lithium. They sent me a prototype, which is kind of cool. I don't get that very often. Lowly me, I just get sent out stuff that you guys can already buy. They're launching this thing right now. I've had a little while to play with it. This is their solution to Big Power Portable. Portable because it has a handle, right? And this has a handle, but it's a pretty big setup. So let's go through it and I'll show you what's involved with this portable power setup. So you might know Lithium. I've done a sponsorship with them before for these batteries. These things are some of my favorite on the market. They're pretty affordable, but they have a lot of functionality, a lot of safety features, and they got Bluetooth. And you know I like Bluetooth. They also make inverters. This isn't one of the ones that you've seen before. This is a really small 2000 watt inverter, but it has all the other charging systems built into it. So you can AC charge the batteries, you can charge them off of solar, off of DC, and you can parallel this unit to another unit to get even more power. So let's drag everything back up here, take a trip from the foredeck to the aft deck, and show off the portability of this setup. And this is the biggest portable solar array I have ever tested. This thing is massive because it's 400 watts. That's huge. They have Velcroed on kicker brackets that support them on an upright position like this, which is kind of your optimal angle. And then there's a pouch on the far side that holds this MC4 lead with a dongle that connects directly to our inverter. Nice pouch. They put waterproof zippers on it, which is the first time I've ever seen that, so big up. Remember to always check the torque specs on these. You don't want to overdo it with some giant wrench like I'm doing. It's not very professional.
This is a normal sized wrench. These batteries are just so small.
So small. Well, they are light and they are dense and powerful, and of course they've got that Bluetooth, which I love so much. It gives me lots of information. All right, let's plug this bad boy in and see if it explodes. Right on. Okay, power up, please. I wanted to test the maximum capabilities of this because, of course, I like to break things. And it is a massive surge draw. So if anything's gonna pop this circuit, it'll be this. Plug into home. Looks like a hot damn. It's a funny little box and it takes a lot of setup, but damn, if you want a lot of power, this will do it. So along with 3 AC outlets here that are rated for 20 amps a pop, this thing also has a nice little 12 volt socket, has 2 smaller 12 volt sockets for the LED lights that you often get in other kits, and of course you've got your USBs. These are USB 3s and a USB-C down here, so all high power discharge, all top of the high-end thing with a simple little box, nice and clean. There is connectivity here for a RS485, so that tells me that maybe in the future they're going to be hooking these up with connectivity with some of their other devices, which is really nice to have and nice to know. And of course you've got your main switch relay down here, or main breaker down here to reset everything, solar connection, AC connection, and a parallel connection, so you can connect this up to another unit and get a whopping 4,000 watts. Thank you so much for AO Lithium for sending this out. If you guys are interested in powering large electronics on a beach somewhere, please check out the link in the description. And thank you for watching. We're gonna put this onto Perry, and well, we have no power on board, so it's gonna be coming in useful. Okay, back here in Vancouver, Haley and Barry have been hard at work on Perry. Lots of progress has been done in the other episodes, but this episode we're gonna tackle the hole on the bottom of the boat, because while this thing is burning a hole in my pocket, being here on the ground, she can't go back in the water until that hole's done, and she's going to continue burning a hole in my pocket until she's in the water. So we're going to get this fixed, and Haley's going to finish painting it, which already looks so great, and then we'll get her in the water, lickety split. All right, so I feel like a dentist. I'm down here just looking for cavities. Oh, and as they're cutting away, you're kind of finding the weak sections. You find the sections where it sounds rock hard. You find the sections where it's not. That's rock hard, but like, there you go. See, like that sounds different. So that will have to come out. And then, as you can tell, delamination, we've got layers, but you can kind of see how they laid up the boat, right? So this is your roving, which is matte and CSM together, and then underneath that there's another layer of matte which is just kind of stuck together, but then we have some delamination between that matte and the next layer of matte, and then there's another layer of matte on there, and then there's some CSM again, so probably another layer of roving. But yeah, it's kind of mixed in, some matte, some roving. All right, day 2 of dealing with the hole at the bottom of the boat. I am now under the in for a penny, in for a pound philosophy, which means we are ripping off any and all delaminated. We're not going to stop. Water is going to pool at the lowest point. So we're kind of digging back into the lowest point. I'm hoping it's about here. So I thought I was going to have to make a complicated jig. Turns out you drill a hole in the bottom of your boat, right there, and you just hold that on, and the suction holds it on. I'll let that run for half an hour and it'll suck everything out of there.
Whoa!
There you go. What do you think of that?
Fucking genius.
It works pretty good.
I was gonna suck it out with my mouth.
Yeah, well now you don't have to. And then, so what my plan is to like continue excavating, and then once it's all like to a point where we like it, we'll just wet that area with epoxy and have the vacuum going and let it suck it through all the channels.
Yeah.
And then, you know, gum up my filter, but that's fine. And then just like keep going until it kicks with the heaters, and then just start the glassing process. Done.
Whoa.
Done.
Done and done.
That feels good. What an adventure. Thankfully, I'm just about done with the grinding. Let me show you what we've got. First of all, look at all these layers of putrid, disgusting hull I've removed. We've got all the delaminations done. Got a tiny little bit more here to sand out. And then here's this major cavity. Now I've touching the actual ballast now. This is an iron ballast and it's starting to rust. Here's some of our filler. We're gonna backfill it. Got some gloves. Luckily, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that it's iron and not steel. It's not expanding as it rusts, and so it's not gonna damage the boat, and it still weighs the same. So really, functionally, in terms of ballast, it's doing its job, but structurally, it's not doing much of anything. So we're just gonna backfill this part right here, and then we're gonna glass everything back in. Now that we've excavated this hard, it's nice to know what's down there. It's unfortunate that it's got water in it, but you know, I kind of expected that. And we've got 1.5 inches of glass on the bottom of the keel and 1 inch on the side walls of the keel. So quite a lot of glass, but it's a big boat and that makes a lot of sense. Time to get back to work.
Kicking out the epoxy.
It was a long night of fiberglassing last night. We're supposed to get sunshine today. It's not really happening, but good thing's good. We've kept it dry over here. The keel is looking fantastic. Sanded it back this morning, laid on some fairing compound.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that looks great. That looks better than a hole.
We didn't do like the cleanest job on earth, but given the circumstance, I'm happy with the results. It's strong, it's watertight. Those are the important bits. It's not quite as smooth as I'd like.
Another day. Next haul out.
Plenty smooth enough.
Yeah. We'll block her next time further forward and keep that clear and block her up higher and like another pass next
Yeah,
haul.
the rest of the keel looks really good. There's not even a single scratch from here to the rudder basically. It's just all right here, so we're happy. We did it, and she'll go in the water and she'll be watertight, and that's all that matters. Good morning, Barry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't supposed to come back, but here I am.
I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
I'm not supposed to be here.
But
Here I am. Between our engine troubles and the information we got from our survey, we got a little bit more work than we were anticipating, so we're just going to get to it now and do my thing. I'm going to do more fiberglassing.
Yes, I'm doing a thing.
So we're starting off by labeling through hulls. We've got a lot of through hulls, and we just want to know what does what can be deleted, because the less holes in your boat, the better. That's what I've heard. First things first, we're going to walk around the boat and just mark every single through hole that's there, and then we're going to go inside and try and figure out what they all do and what their diameters are. Barry, you ready to show me all your holes?
Woo!
All right. We got 1, 2, zinc, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 and 11 that are close to the water line, just on the starboard side. We've already identified these bilge pumps, and we're gonna go inside and find the most.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on port side that we're not certain about.
6 to identify. Jesus. All right, well, let's go look at the port side. One that's not supposed to be below the water line, but is. We have another one.
That one's from the engine room.
Another one. That's 3. We got another bilge pump out right here. That's 3 below the water line. Holy, it's getting busy over here. Is that a transducer?
That one is sealed.
Is that just a sealed through hole, or is that?
It's under the bench in the galley.
Okay.
It was the water speed indicator.
Okay. So yeah, all right. And then that transducer wired in right now?
Can't be certain.
Okay.
This is under the bench.
We've got a major exhaust there, which is probably direct head.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
these,
the
So that's
these are the
4,
two. These are
5,
the two heads. Yeah, this is the macerator.
7, 8. So 8 more through holes on this side too.
And then this one.
There's 17 through holes below the water line.
Yeah.
What?
She's like a piece of Swiss cheese, man.
She's
Look at those adorable ducks. You know that.
They have corkscrew penises.
Getting-
Look at that. It's fucking riddled in holes.
Right. Well, looks like we got to go inside next and make sure that we label these all.
Oh, you're probably right. That might be the sink. The cockpit scuppers go down to a through hole on each side. I think each side. There's one on one side for sure. Just that it is our cockpit scupper. So we got 2 more identified. Also, right here, you see that guy?
Raw water in.
This one is
Yeah.
defunct. It's been capped, so we can delete this one.
Okay. And that's right there next to the engine. So what diameter is that one?
Looks like 1.25 inches.
This is a special mixture of epoxy, inner fibe, which is a common additive I use for structural stuff, and then I had all this leftover fiberglass from cutting around all these little edges, which should give it much more structural strength, even though it's just a filler. And then we'll come back, wet it down, and then start wetting down these pucks and just lay layer after layer after layer. You know, 7 or 8 layers later, we'll move to the next one. In there and get all the air out of it.
What do you do after a long, hard day working on a boat, other than sit in a van to warm up and watch some Captain Ron?
We're also watching the fiberglass kick out the window, but it's so cold right now that we've got a heat gun strapped to a boat stand, and we got a bunch of extension cords running to it, and we're just gonna sit here in the warmth, warm our frosty hands, drinking some frosty PBR, watch Captain Ron. Keep your eye on that, make sure it doesn't light your boat on fire.
Whoa! That's what I call a party.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our through-hull repairs, deletes, rock hard, look good. However, I screwed up and I forgot to take out the big boy. This is the 3rd intake for that fire suppression system that no longer is in the boat or operational. And we're just gonna use 1 input from now on. So this one's getting deleted, and also the exhaust for the generator was routed from the engine room all the way up through the boat to right there on the stern. So it's also getting deleted. So I got 2 more to delete today, and then I got sanding and fairing, cleaning up on the outside, and then I got to lay glass on the inside. I've got a lot of fiberglass to do today. Let's get to it. Selective heat gunning and an ambient heat from the backside. It's a real delicate balance when you're fiberglassing in the cold, because you want it warm enough to be kicking, but not so hot that it speed kicks and like crystallizes and breaks apart. Then you also need to get it not so hot that it's dripping and leaking, because we're also fiberglassing upside down. But if you also leave it too cold, the epoxy's too thick and it makes it for a not very strong bond. So it's a real dance there. Ooh, fun.
Okay, just baked off the through hulls. They're faired, they're repaired, they're done. Yeah, I just put a heater on the inside up against the fiberglass because they're glass from inside and outside, and they're beautifully faired, ready for painting, ready for sanding and then painting. And Simon just took off, and Haley and I are about to take off. And wow, huge, wonderful. Simon crushed it. He just showed up, ground everything out. Just ground and pound, man. He just pounded out the work. He got it all done. Incredible.
Okay, and you've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much to Barry and Haley for holding this project together while it's been just quite the adventure. As you can tell, there's a bit of a time lag. That episode was filmed mostly in January, and now it is the middle of summer. The Perry is here now. Obviously, we'll show you that in an upcoming episode. But yeah, I've been suffering through some YouTuber burnout, and it's not something that you guys are unfamiliar with. Lots of YouTubers talk about it. I've been at this for a long time, made hundreds and hundreds of videos. I've been at 7 years of this, and yeah, I'm just feeling it, man. Got some family stuff going on that's tough. I've got some business stuff that's going on that's taking up a lot of time. And yeah, I'm just trying to find my route. I'm a little lost right now, and I think I got to get back out and travel some more because yeah, I think I've lost focus on what is important, you know, and time to pare it down a little bit. Got to figure out what to do with the channel, where I want to go with it. I've got, you know, more than half a dozen videos clocked up and ready to roll, so we'll be editing those and getting them out to you, get you guys caught up on what's been going on in my life. But yeah, I just wanted to experiment a little bit. Thank you for your patience. Thank you to AO Lithium for sponsoring this episode. Those guys have been hella patient with me. They sent that prototype out ages ago. I've had so much time to mess with it and play with it. It's a really cool system. I think it shows a lot of promise. It's really interesting, the corner that they're trying to market, somewhere between the fully portable and the fully installed. It's like a system that you would leave fully installed most of the time and maybe yank out when you needed big power somewhere for a longer stretch of time. So not just a few hours, but maybe a few days camping somewhere. This would be a good setup for that. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. Thank you so much to AO Lithium for sticking with me through this process. Been a long one, and thank you for you guys for sticking with me that much longer. 7 years YouTubing. It's been a hell of a ride, and yeah, it's going to be a hell of a ride moving forward. Thank you to Barry and Haley for holding me together and for holding this project together. Couldn't have done this without you guys. And yeah, it's been a ride, man. Next episode coming a little bit sooner than the last.
You are beautiful.